Hey guys, welcome back. How are you? I hope you are good and doing well. So, in the last lecture, we allowed employers to export the job application received on a individual job using CSV. Okay, now we need to allow employers to export the same data using Excel format. Okay, because let's say there could be some preferences for different employers, like who want to download it as CSV, who want to download it as let's say Excel format. Okay, so we need to allow both options. Okay, so we will use spreadsheet gem to download the Excel file. Okay, now what we need to do, first go to the code file and a code project, and then open the gem file, and here we need to add the gem spreadsheet. Okay, save this, and now we need to run the bundle install. So come to the browser, run bundle install. Sorry, come to the terminal and run the bundle install. Okay, so when you run this, it will be logged into your gemlog file. Okay, and then start the rail server again, and now we need to start implementing this file. Okay, but first what we need to do, that we need to add a similar link into the job show page, which is export as Excel. So Excel. Okay, and then here what you can do, XLS. Okay, and now we need to implement a similar service class that we created for our let's say CSV. Okay, so let's go to that services directory, and here create a new folder which is for Excel. Okay, and why I'm creating separate directories for CSV and Excel, because there might be more resources that we want to export as Excel format. So we are just separating the concerns here. Like if it is for CSV data, it should invoke the CSV services, and if it is for Excel export, it should invoke the Excel services. Okay, and now we need to create a similar class here with, and name it as, let's say, export job applications service dot rb. Okay, and then go to the CSV directory, copy this. Okay, and paste it here. Now instead of CSV, what you need to require here is spreadsheet. Okay, and then you need to mention the Excel here. Okay, so we are using Excel export job applications service. Okay, and then instead of initializing only application job, you also need to manage let's say job object here. Okay, and why job object? Because in Excel we create sheets, like in a single Excel file there could be multiple sheets, so we will name that Excel sheet as a job dot title. Okay, so here job dot, sorry, at the rate job equal to job. Okay, now we need to create a method which is export to Excel. Okay, so we don't need that, so we don't need this generate CSV, so we can remove this. Okay, so remove it here, and then we can use def export to Excel, or let's say generate XLS. Generate Excel. Okay, and then we need to end this method, and here we need to start our implementation. So to create a workbook in the spreadsheet, what we need to do, we need to instantiate the workbook class from the spreadsheet gem. Okay, so spreadsheet, and then workbook dot new. Okay, and you can find the complete documentation at the spreadsheet gem. Okay, so here we have spreadsheet and workbook dot new. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to create a worksheet, or we need to create a sheet into this book. Okay, so sheet equal to, you can create like book dot create worksheet. Okay, and what you will, how you will want to name your worksheet, so let's say job application received for job dot title. Okay, so job applications received for at the rate job dot title. Okay, now this sheet will be represented at the bottom of the Excel file that will be downloaded. Okay, now we need to add the header, so we can use this let's say Excel header. Okay, so let's say Excel headers, and then what we can do, sheet dot row, which will be the first row. So sheet dot row, and then concat, and pass this method which is Excel headers. Okay, so what this will do, it will use this Excel header method to append it as a header into your Excel file. Okay, now let's create the application data, I mean the CSV data. So what we need to do now, like at the rate applied jobs.h2. Yeah, let's use at the rate applied jobs dot h with index, sorry, h with index do, and then applied job your index. Okay, and then what we need to do, sheet dot row index plus 1. Why index plus 1? Because we already used row 0, which is the first row of the sheet, and that is the header. Okay, so what we need to do, index dot index plus 1, and then replace. Okay, and here what we need to do, replace with this array which is the CSV row. So what we can do here, Excel row, Excel row, and then just use it here. Okay, so this way we can create our Excel rows, Excel data rows. So here you can see what we did: apply dot job dot each with index, and apply job index, and then sheet dot row index plus 1 dot replace. Okay, so we are replacing the first line with this row. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to generate the Excel, because we so far we just prepared the Excel, we did not generated it. Okay, and we need to use book dot write method. I mean this workbook has a write method, which is an instance method, and which will write the data into the let's say data into the Excel file. Okay, and then what we need to do here, Excel data equal to string io dot new. Okay, and then book dot write Excel data. Okay, and then Excel data dot string. Okay, so this way we can generate our Excel. So here let's see what we did. So we just did it like just we did for the CSV format. So we imported Excel export job application service, and here in the initializer we are passing applied jobs and job. Okay, and we are using job instance variable to name our workbook sheet. Okay, and then we created a method which is the generate Excel, and then book, we instantiate a workbook instance. Okay, and then we created a worksheet into the Excel with this title, job application received for whatever the job title is. Okay, and then in the first row of the sheet at that we generated within that Excel book, and we concatenated the Excel header, and the Excel header is defined here. Okay, and then we iterated through the applied jobs collection using each with index, and then we are replacing index plus 1, I mean the second row of the Excel book with the Excel data. Okay, and I mean the Excel row data, which is Excel row data is this applied job dot id, I mean the applied job attributes, or whatever the attributes we define as a header here. Okay, and now what we need to do, that we need to write something to handle the XLS format within the job application jobs controller. Okay, and that will be the similar way to do that. And here what we need to do, format dot XLS, format dot XLS, and then do, and here we need to do similar thing, which is let's say So instead of CSV data, what we will do, Excel data. Okay, and here send data to Excel data, and here dot xls instead of CSV, because we are generating the Excel file. So dot xls. Okay, and then here use Excel, and then the method that we define here is the generate Excel. Okay, so use this generate Excel into your jobs controller, generate Excel, and don't forget to pass the @job as well, because for the initialize method within the Excel job application export, we are using two variables, that is applied job and the generate Excel. Okay, now let's save this and go to the browser. So if we go to the browser and refresh the page, this error. Okay, so after refreshing the page you will get this error, because XLS is not a default format which is supported by Rails. Okay, so what you need to do here, you need to allow mime types to handle this request. Okay, so we need to create a file into the initializer to serve the mime request. Okay, so just go to the project directory again, and into the config initializers, let's create a new file and name it as mime types. Okay, so name this, save this file as types.rb. Okay, and then what you need to do, mime type dot register. Okay, and then application vnd dot ms dot excel. Okay, dot ms excel, name it as xls. Okay, so this is we register the custom mime type to generate the data based upon the requested response. Okay, now let's since we created an initializer file, so what we need to do now, we need to restart our server to get this work. Okay, so restart the server, and when you go to the browser and refresh the page, now you will see a new button which is a export as xls. Okay, and now what we need to do, we need to click on this link. So when you click on this link, you will see that a new XLS file has been downloaded. And when you open this XLS file, you can see at the bottom, it is showing the sheet name, which is the job application received for this job, which is DevOps engineer required. Okay, and then in the first row, you can see the header of the Excel, which is ID, applicant name, applicant email, and then if you expand it more, you can see contact number, then current CTC, expected CTC, and then when the applicant is able to join, and then serving notice period, and then applied it when they applied. Okay, so this way you can export the job application received data on a specific job into the Excel format as well. Now one can think that why this data is important, or why we are allowing employer to download this data as Excel. Okay, because that will help them to prepare some charts or make some information. Okay, so they can directly forward such data to their higher authority or some higher departments. They can make some decision based upon it. Okay, so you can just provide these kind of features. And not for this project scenario, you can also consider the same approach to export the CSV or Excel data. Okay, approach will be same. If you want to generate the data into the Excel, export the data into the XLS format, you need to do the same approach that we did here. Okay, like create a service class, or you can do it without service classes as well, but I created service class just to keep the separation of concern. Okay, and so that CSV and separate CSV and the export service, Excel export services will be separate. And whenever you require a new export service for other resource or for other data, you can follow the similar approach to create that. Okay, so we created the data, and especially for the XLS, when you export, you need to register this mime type into the config initializers. Okay, and then in the jobs controller, you can see that how we handle the CSV response and the XLS response. Okay, so this way we can export the data for any kind of resource using CSV and XLS. Okay, now it's time to move on to do this thing using active jobs, but we will do that thing into the next lecture. Okay, so that's all for this lecture. Try to follow this lecture and just try to export the data into the CSV. And I would like to say you that don't follow this lecture for this use only, and even you can go ahead and just create multiple resources in your demo application or at your level, and then try to export those data as well, and try to repeat the same pattern for exporting the CSV and XLS. As I already say that the number of times you repeat a process, the number of times you be better in that. Okay, and try to customize the headers and footers and job worksheet as well, and try to explore the spreadsheet gem as well for the better learning. Okay, so that's all for this lecture, and we will meet into the next lecture. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.